Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, we are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we get going, disclaimers, you guys know the drill. Alright, first off, you are going to see the link to this article right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Koya's massive archive on the subject, and the templates. Folks, you know the drill. Sign your name, click on your senator, and the ever present self explanatory change.org Shut to Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Folks, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. You got young children present. Use your headphones to go without saying, right? Okay. Folks, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. You got young children present, please use your headphones. And folks, it's 7:37 a.m. in the freaking morning. I am not awake. Not awake at all. This is my second dose of caffeine. So, if I stumble over my words, folks, my apologies. Advance, right? Okay, so we are going to where we left off yesterday here. And I'm sorry if I kind of look a little bit like a train wreck. It is morning. And I am too lazy to put on makeup today. Brief history of the JRC. Before discussing specific strategies employed by the JRC to, in Ahmed's words, reorient autistic and otherwise neurodivergent people, I will provide a brief overview of the history of the J. Rotenberg Center, a program that was later to become JRC, called the Behavioral Research Institute. BRI was founded in 1971 by Matthew Israel, a student of B.F. Skinner's, who was interested in the use of behavioral therapies, primarily applied behavior analysis ABA, particularly in the use of painful aversive stimuli to discourage behavior considered challenging to manage, i.e., self-stimulatory behavior, aggression, self-injurious behavior, and behavior differences. To this day, folks, to this fucking day, I do not understand this concept. But they were harming themselves. So what? You're gonna harm them for them? For the life of me, I don't understand the fucking logic behind adversives. Like, what in the name of God? If this person is already self-harming, it makes no sense. Just ABA makes no sense anyways. It's neurological. You cannot use a behavior modification program to change fucking the way someone's brain works. It can't be done, folks. It can't be done. Did I eventually learn tact and time and place? Yes, because I was surrounded by fucking logical people who taught me these concepts in a way that I could understand instead of doing this kind of bullshit. It wasn't Tiffany. If you do your right behaviors, you'll get a cookie. If you don't, you'll get punished for existing. Now it'd be like, Tiffany, this is not the time or place. Why, Mom? And she would then bluntly discuss to me about why something was gross or not appropriate in logical terms that I, as a child, can understand. Fucking God, why does nobody who's in love with ABA ever let logic enter the chat? Sorry, that's a rant for another day. And particularly the blah 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 blah. I don't understand. The BRI operated two locations, one in Florida and one in Rhode Island, for autistic students and those identified as having intellectual disabilities. Widespread abuse of students was reported in both locations, including documentation of the use of punishments, including skin pinching, in the case of a 12-year-old boy named Christopher Hirsch. The bottoms of his feet had been pinched so hard and so constantly that the skin had been completely removed. A white noise helmet that triggered a seizure, resulting in the death of an autistic student named Vincent Militek, as well as the deprivation of food and electric skin shocks delivered by an earlier prototype of the GED currently in use at the JRC. An investigation conducted by the Massachusetts Department of Mental Retardation, remember, this is back in the 80s, people, found the treatment of the students inhumane beyond all reason and a violation of the universal standards of human decency. The JRC uses a strict behavioral program known as Applied Behavioral Analysis, which uses operant conditioning, inspired by the founder Matthew Israel's mentor B.F. Skinner. In 1996, the BRA was named JRC and relocated to Canton, Massachusetts. Allegations of abuse and violation of human rights continue to be raised, and organizations including DRI, the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, and ADAPT have launched several investigations into abuse at the center, as well as publishing reports outlining human rights violations. Of particular concern is the continued use of electric skin shocks. Recently, in 2018, a group of 50 ADAPT and ASAM protesters held a sit-in outside the home of Scott Gottlieb, Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, to protest the continued use of electric shock on JRC students, and in particular the FDA's lack of action to ban the continued use of the GED. ADAPT 2018. This is back in 2018, folks. Remember, we won in 2020. And then the D.C. Circuit Court fucking broke that promise to us and allowed them to again continue unabated fucking torturing us. The JRC takes Skinner's behaviorism, a theory based on human learning when exposed to reward and punishment, to extreme levels with its harsh treatment of undesirable behaviors, ranging from aggression, self-injury, and stealing, to such innocuous offenses as staring at others, covering ears, and blowing nose without a tissue. To the loss of privileges such as meals and outings, and through electric skin shocks deployed through a device called the Graduated Electronic Decelerator, which students wear as a backpack, in addition to the use of restraint and seclusion. This brief history of the JRC is provided to give readers a sense of violence enacted at the JRC as grounded in a history of violence towards disabled people, and of the JRC specifically as a site of violence since its inception. And remember, she's just touching on the basics, folks. We've gone through their level of psycho in depth on this channel, haven't we? Literature review. Okay, we're going to go through this briefly here. While there is no existing literature specifically examining the theme park and institution as a connected phenomena, there is a body of work on the geography of the theme park and the institution, which will assist me in understanding the spatiality of the JRC and it plays out on the bodies and minds of inmates. What my research attempts to address draws on the work of Folcott and Goffman, 1961, in that it looks closely at the physical space of the JRC and then attempts to understand how power operates through space, as well as the violent effects of this unbridled power as it plays out on the bodies and minds of inmates. While disability students often looks at inaccessible environments and problematizes that concept that, as Tichkowski 2011 states, things just weren't built with people with disabilities in mind. Thank you! They never are. They never are, folks. This paper takes a different approach, not unknown in disability studies, but perhaps underexplored. Here I'm examining an environment that is designed with the disabled body in mind, that of the JRC, and historical iterations of the institution, with the intention that these spaces will have a curative effect on the body-mind of the neurodivergent person. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I see no rhyme and reason to the interior design of that place. None. None. It looks like somebody had a bad fucking acid trip and then threw up Disney and Martha Stewart. Can we be honest here? I don't see anything. Anything that's cool. If it were designed for us, it was designed to torment us. Can I say that? If that was designed for us, it was designed to torment us, not draw us in. But it makes sense, though, knowing the JRC's track record, if you think about it, right? Why not torment on all sides? Part of the fucking psychological as well as physical warfare they extract against us. Such spaces are designed in such a way that the disabled body is broken down and reoriented towards one that more closely resembles the neurotypical normative body, using the processes of discipline and docility described by Foucault. Boom! Okay, why am I not surprised? Oh, you don't like these surroundings? These loud colors, the creepy fucking music, the weird Disney shit? Well, we're going to cure you so that you'll be like every other child. Fuck you, okay? Fuck you. Just saying. And by the way, every other child isn't like every other child. As explained by Hammery 2013, Dick 2010, and Glisson 1998, the design of the built environment is a material discursive phenomenon producing both the physical environment design of a space as well as a symbolic meaning. You mean that their childhood is now dead and welcome to hell? As explained by Amy Hammery 2013, feminist Karen Barad 2007 understands material discursive phenomena as practices that produce the built environment, the institution, as well as communicating meaning about what kinds of material and social relations should be possible. Really? Really? Because I thought they discouraged social interactions with the other inmates. The design of spaces is never value neutral, and the built environment both reflects and recreates broader social understandings and assumptions about will and should inhabit the world. In other words, you don't like this? Well, you don't fucking belong on this planet. So what we're going to do is we're going to fucking torment, traumatize, and carve you up until you're into a shape that is fitting to suit our needs so that we don't feel awkward. Fucking hate people. Feminist social geographer Isabel Dick described what she understands as a socio-spatial model of disability as one which accounts for the importance of the built-in environment revealing issues of access, exclusion, and oppression towards disabled citizens. Hammery, 2013. My major research paper explores what Dick 2010 has described as a socio-spatial model of disability, and I am indebted of the work of Isabel Dick and Brendan Gleeson for their pioneering work critically engaging in the built environment as integral to the understanding of disability and the exclusion and oppression faced by disabled people, in part through the creation of spaces which separate disabled people from their homes, families, and communities. With this work in mind, I will reflect upon the history of both the theme park and the institution for those labeled as having intellectual disabilities in the context of Foucault's work on discipline, power, and institutional space. All right, we're going to go ahead and kind of end it there for right at the moment. So, what is this telling us this morning? That place is not built for us. It's built for neurotypical children, or what somewhere in the fucking back of his psychotic mind Dr. Israel thinks would appeal to the quote-unquote perfect normal child. In order to, force these kids with severe sensory issues on top of all the other issues, basically Oh, you don't like it? Well, we'll force you to like it. We're going to force you to like all the same things and act in the same ways as everyone else. And if you can't, well, we're going to turn you into a docile little robot who just accepts everything and never speaks up about against it. You get where I'm going with this, don't you? Don't you? It's everything to crush disabled people down, to remove every sense of the idea that we have any worth as human beings, to utterly crush it out of us, to just accept whatever is thrown at us without a word of complaint. Be docile, good little disabled people behind closed doors. It's disgusting, folks. And why do they do this? So that they don't have to see us or deal with us. You know what I mean? Traumatize us to the point that we're basically fucking comatose for their convenience. It's what it is. Either we're going to abuse you into the point of being normal, or to the point that you are filled with so much trauma that you dare won't lift your head up. Yeah, it really is that bleak, folks. And JRC, although one of the most extreme, are by far not the only people in this world who have those kinds of opinions. We, in and of ourselves, are never considered. Literally everyone else around us is. We have the whole world sitting there telling us from day one from our diagnosis that we have to adapt to the world, be whatever they want us to be, never take a break, never rest, constantly be productive all the time. Go, 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 go. And if not, if we ask for reasonable accommodation, if we ask for additional breaks, if we ask for reasonable things, if we dare stand up for ourselves in a situation where we really need to because someone's discriminating against us due to our disability. Yeah, well, you know how that goes, don't you? There are conversations that need to be had in society. You may think we've moved along, but the same form of thinking that created hellholes like the Judge Rotenberg Center and the institutions of old, if you think they're gone, they're not. On that dark note, folks, I'm going to go ahead and close this out for today. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time, so please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you this evening for tomorrow's video. Bye.